What's going on, YouTube? So about a month ago, we showed you one of the first reviews of the all-new BMW X3, but it was the M50 Performance version. And what I'm standing next to right now is the most popular version. This is the 30 model. This, of course, is a volume-selling BMW, and of course, it's also all new this year. So what do you get for the money? Let's go ahead and dive in and find out. So what better place to start out this review than talking about the bold new exterior for this X3. You'll notice that this looks very different from the previous generation model, although you do have quite a few signature BMW elements. Now up here in the front, you will notice that we have our latest interpretation of the grille. It has a more modern look to it overall, and it's a little bit bigger than before. Now, this particular model has the M Sport package. That is optional here on the 30 model, which means that you're going to get this piece that's going to be fully blacked out and a little bit more of an aggressive finish for your grille. Other models will have a lot of chrome going on up here in the front. Overall, I think it looks quite nice. And then let's check out our headlights. So for our headlights, once again, a very different design this year. You have the new kind of flowing lines, daytime running light and turn signal indicator. You're also going to have full LED projector, low and high beams for this new model. Now, no redesign would be complete without new wheel options, and of course that's going to take place here with the new X3. What you're looking at right now is the optional 21-inch alloy wheel that you can get on the 30 model. I think it looks fantastic here in person. I love the overall contrast design. You do come standard with 19-inch alloy wheels or standard 20s if you choose that up-level M50. Now, here at your mirrors, we are going to have a body color finish, and it's going to be fully loaded with features. So you have standard power folding, blind spot monitoring, heating, and you even have auto dimming on the driver's side. Now at the side of the new X3, it's about 187 inches long, which is up about an inch over last year. We also have some new design elements. Of course, we have the flip-up door handles, and we also have blacked out window surrounds and roof rails. But let's head around to the rear design of this new X3, because I think this is really probably the most controversial design element about this new model, is that we now have a lot more of a flat rear design. So it kind of goes straight up and down, but we do have some other elements going on, such as a spoiler up top. We also have a wiper right here, and we're going to have new taillights with kind of a different design to them. They are very three-dimensional, and they're also going to be full LED, so that includes your brake light, your reverse light, and turn signal indicator. And one of the new things that they've done for this all-new generation is actually remove the I branding. So you'll notice it says X330. That's because it's no longer the 30i. Down here at the bottom, all of this is going to be finished in a piano black. However, for this new model, no exposed exhaust outlets unless you choose the M50. Your tow rating for the 30 is 4,000 pounds. Now for the volume-selling BMW X3, they are giving you 3 out of 4 active safety features as standard equipment. That's going to include everything besides 4 adaptive cruise control, which you can get in a driver's assistance package. That will also include things like a traffic jam assist. But arguably the bigger changes are on the inside for this new X3, so let's dive into that. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12 and 16. We may be young, but we love cars. And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
Let's go ahead and dive into the interior for this new X3. It is a radical departure, but before we get into that, here's your key fob for the new model. It does have a different design this year. This is the latest BMW design. You kind of have some buttons on the side. You do have standard smart entry on every model and available remote start. Now walking up to the vehicle, you just grab behind the handle, and that's going to go ahead and unlock the door. I mentioned earlier, but you do have the new flip-up door handle design this year. And taking a look inside this new X3, of course you're going to notice this is very different and a lot more tech-focused than the previous X3. Now, as far as your seating and color choices, that's something we cover in all of our Car Confections reviews. Let's go ahead and dive into that. What you're looking at right now is the standard Vaganza leatherette. So yes, this is a leatherette, but you really wouldn't be able to tell that just by the feel of it. It feels really nice and premium. This is known as the calm beige color. However, you do also have the option of espresso and black. You can additionally get extended merino leather if you want real leather. And as far as the seat adjustments, they are going to be quite adjustable, as you can see right through here. You also have 4-way lumbar support and adjustable bolsters. Now, when it comes to your memory seats, you do also have those as an available option here on the side in this touch capacitive panel. But let's go ahead and dive inside this new X3's cabin. Now, shutting the door and diving into overall material quality for this new X3, there's a lot to talk about here. So, as you can see over here on the door trim, we do have a nice leatherette pad going through here in that same beige color. All of this is going to be a hard touch, so keep that in mind. But we do have a nice soft touch plastic through the through the upper section, and then we have a cloth trim down through here. Now, if we head to the upper dashboard, all of that is going to be finished in a leatherette material. You have some stitching details going through this section. And BMW just overall has decided to kind of make lighting a big part of the materials as well. So you'll see light bars integrated throughout the center section and on the door trim. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Now, down here in the center section, you also have your choice of a couple different materials. As you can see, we've opted for the aluminum on this model. Of course, you have standard push-button start, so let's go ahead and fire it up. But let's go ahead and dive into technology now that the car is booted up. That's one of the biggest differences about this new X3 is that we have massively upgraded tech. So instead of the separated setup that you had on the previous X3, we now have a dual curved display. We've seen this on quite a few other BMW products, including the more expensive X5. And over here on the gauge cluster, that's going to be a 12.3-inch screen. It is highly customizable, and you can put things like maps in the middle section. It's a very nice resolution as well. If you look up at the windshield, you'll also notice that we have a head-up display that is available in the premium package here on the X3. Now, coming back to the steering wheel itself, we're going to have a new design this year. It's kind of the blockier BMW look, I like to call it. This is also the special M Sport steering wheel, so you get a different design if you choose the standard model. It has a really nice feel to it, really thick rim, and we also have paddle shifters integrated behind it. You're going to have manual tilt and telescoping, and you also have steering wheel heating on the vast majority of models. But one of the things that we do in all of our Car Confections reviews is talk about interior storage, and that's an area that has improved this year for the X3. As you can see here in the center console, we have a pretty good amount of space. Unfortunately, we are traveling and we are on a time frame, so because of that time constraint, we will not be able to get our donuts and fill the center console. However, it would fit quite a few, as you can see right there. And then we also have this new storage cubby up here in the front. As you can see, you have deep cup holders with your little M badge right there, and then you also have a wireless phone charging pad, as well as a nice big storage cubby up here. I think that's a big improvement over the previous generation model. Now, here in the center area, that's where you're going to find your shifter. We now have the new nub style BMW shifter, so just pull back for drive. Once more, we'll put you in sport mode where you can use those paddle shifters. If we go up, that's going to show us our 360 camera. That's an available option here on the X3, and it's going to be a really nice 360 camera. You can spin all the way around the vehicle with a nice 3D spin. You can go into a panoramic view, and here's your 3D view that you can control here with this knob here in the center section. It's really impressive graphics on board for this X3. Now, in order to go into park, you just press the little P right there. And then off to the side of that, you're going to notice things like our volume roller. So this will control two different audio systems. You have a standard setup, but we have the optional 16-speaker Harman Kardon audio system. So let's go ahead and give it a sample. Overall sound quality is quite good. I really am a pretty big fan of Harman Kardon audio systems, and this is going to be no different here in the X3. Now, up in front of that, you will also notice that we have a new glass controller for our xDrive system. Of course, it's also a touch screen, so you can just use that, but if you don't want the fingerprints, you can use that new control knob. And let's go ahead and talk about our climate controls, because that's probably going to be an area where some of you guys might like that they've gone for a more tech-forward approach, and some of you guys may not like that. So as you can see, the actual temperature adjustment will be controlled here in the screen. That's not really all that new. A lot of BMW products have had that in the past. However, we have updated to have a digital fan speed control. So you just swipe to turn on and off the fan, and this is actually how you adjust the fan itself. So instead of being able to just grab it real easily, you use this little knob down here, and that will adjust it itself. Of course, that gives you a nice sleek look, but I will say it's probably quite a bit harder to use, especially while driving. Now I want to just go ahead and give you a look at what these ambient lights do by flipping on the hazards. It's a really nice interactive light bar, so it does a lot of different things. It changes with your drive modes as well to give you that nice premium experience. You do have a standard dual zone automatic setup. You can make more climate adjustments up here in this menu, such as your automatic controls. You have a standard dual zone setup. And since we're up here at the screen, let's go ahead and talk about just the overall sizing of it. We have a 14.9-inch screen setup. It's really high resolution, and it's also going to be running the latest software on board. This is xDrive 9.0. Now, 9.0 is the latest version of xDrive. It may look mostly the same as other versions of the system, but this actually has Android going on in the background, so you have a lot of different functions. You can even do things like play games on this new model, so it's really going to have a lot of technology integrated in, and this is your standard map view. Now, up top, we do have an auto-dimming mirror. We also have HomeLink remotes built in. And then let's talk about this panoramic moonroof. Now, for the new X3, this is included in the premium package. However, the thing I want to point out about it is that it is a fixed panel panoramic moonroof. So while the glass is quite large, it is going to stay in place and it's not going to be able to open. So keep that in mind. And additionally, new for this X3 is you actually have a camera right here that can control various different functions and can even take pictures inside of the vehicle. Now let's go ahead and dive into the rear seat area for this new X3. Now when it comes to overall space, I think you're going to be pretty happy with what BMW is including. We have about 36 inches of legroom and about 38 inches of headroom. It really does feel like you have a lot of headroom back here in this new X3, and it's also quite comfortable. This seat is adjusted to my own 5'9" driving position, and I have about 7.5 inches of additional knee room. My feet can also easily slide up underneath of the seat. Now, since we're down here in the center section, let's go ahead and talk about this. Of course, we have our new climate adjustments here, so you can adjust where the fan is blowing by using that. You also have the option of getting your own climate controls here in the second row, so that would make it a 3-zone setup. I don't even think it's that expensive of an option, so you might want to get that. We have 2 USB-C ports down here. Additionally, you have available heated rear seats, and I'm now remembering that I forgot to mention in the front, heated seats are optional and vented seats are optional as well. We have both of those on this model. Now, if we fold down the center armrest, we do have 2 cup holders. A nice armrest as well. It's going to be nice and comfortable. And we have this little area that allows you to attach different accessories to your X3. Down at the door trim, you'll find that we have a pretty nice one. It's going to be soft touch at the upper part, leatherette all through the center section. So more of that hard touch plastic though down at the bottom, so keep that in mind. But we have a massive door storage. I think that would easily swallow up the Stanley water bottle. Now walking up to the tailgate, we do have a standard hands-free power one on all X3s, and as far as the space is concerned, we do see quite an improvement this year when it comes to overall cargo capacity. We're sitting at about 31.5 cubic feet behind the second row of seats and 67.1 cubic feet with those seats folded down. Now that is really good for this segment. It's an improvement over last generation, as I mentioned just a second ago, and it's also probably, I think it's in the top 3 of biggest ones in the entire luxury compact segment as well. So you're definitely benefit from the overall space that you're going to find back here. The seats do fold 40-20-40 split folding. You can easily fold them just by grabbing this little lever right here, although there is not any handles to fold the fold the seats in the cargo department. And let's go ahead and get our length, width, and height figures. That's something we do in all of our Car Confections reviews. From my own 5'9" driving position, we're looking at about 70 inches of cargo length. From behind the second row, about 36 inches. As far as width, this does appear to be pretty good, 41 inches wide, and then overall height is coming in at about 29 inches tall. Underneath of the floor, we actually have a spare tire and a little bit of additional underfloor storage. Well guys, here we are behind the wheel of the all-new BMW X3, this time in the 30 model. Now, of course, in this test drive, we're going to be discussing quite a few different things. As you can see on the screen right now, we'll also be getting things like our sound level reading. And if you are new to the channel and haven't met Josh already, he's joining me here for BMW's Test Fest event. He's doing a great job helping out, so give him a warm welcome in the comments down below. But let's go ahead and start with a hard acceleration. All right.
Not bad.
There's up to 60 miles per hour. Now, granted, we are going a little bit downhill. We are on a little bit of a time constraint, so we, are doing what we can with what we have. But certainly a very quick 0 to 60 here in the X3. For this all-new model, we are going to be making 255 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque for this standard engine setup. It's a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, and boy, does BMW know how to do their 2-liter turbo 4s, because not only is it really refined, but it's also quite quick. 0 to 60 on this is 6 seconds, and that's the standard model.
Yeah. And as compared to the previous generation of X3, this is up 7 horsepower, and even better, is up 37 pound-feet of torque. That is because it has a 48-volt mild hybrid system working in conjunction with its 2-liter 4-cylinder to not only generate more refinement when it comes to the auto start-stop system, but it also helps you get better fuel economy, which we will talk about in just a little bit.
Now, it's also worth noting that this is the standard option. You have the available M50 model. That is going to be your performance option for now, as the X3M has not quite came out just yet. And that is, of course, going to have the iconic B58 3-liter turbo inline 6-cylinder under the hood. That also has quite a bit more horsepower and torque this year, and it's definitely going to up your performance. We have reviewed that on the channel already. If you haven't checked out that review, you can go watch it. Certainly, that is a quite quick option, but it will be a little bit more expensive than the standard 30 model.
And as far as the specific numbers on that M50 model, you'll have 393 horsepower, 458 pound-feet of torque, and a much quicker 0 to 60 at 4.4 seconds.
Nice. Now, as far as the other aspect of the powertrain, let's talk about the transmission. We have an 8-speed automatic on all versions of the X3. It's a really nice, smooth ZF 8-speed automatic. Gets you your power exactly when you put your foot down. Really have no complaints. It's also incredibly smooth. We recently just drove the BMW X1, and that has a dual clutch transmission. I think this is a big step up in terms of overall refinement. Additionally, you're going to have standard all-wheel drive for all versions of the X3. But we're on a highway section here, and I think it's a great time for us to go ahead and get our sound level reading. We went ahead and toggled it to fan speed 1, and then let's go 55 miles per hour.
56.4 decibels is what we'll be sitting at in this X330 model, and I don't have to sit here and guess how it compares to its many competitors, because I can go to carconfections.com/sound level readings to compare it to all of its competition. So, as Mason already said, we are traveling abroad this week, and we are in Greenville, South Carolina, very close to the birthplace of this X3.
Yep.
And so that sound level reading will put out a little bit on the upper end of the segment, on the louder end of the segment per se, but we are excited to hopefully test one of these back home eventually, where BMWs have historically tested very well, and in fact, the old X3 M40i is sitting second best in this segment.
Yeah, I see no reason why this new one would be any louder, so I would expect to have a very quiet sound level reading, but for the time being, we've only gotten them out of state, so just be patient with us. Hopefully we'll get it back home here shortly. But just kind of cruising down the highway section, I want to discuss overall ride quality for this X3. Now, we've spent several hours with this 30 model, and I have to say, I have been quite impressed with the overall ride quality. Now, compared to the M50 model, that's definitely going to have a little bit of a sportier edge. This 30 is going to be focused on luxury, and boy, does it feel good. When you hit a bump in the road, it does a great job of soaking it up, and that's even with the 21-inch alloy wheels that this particular model has today. It really just does a great job of soaking up all those bumps. So certainly I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I completely agree. I snuck in the back seat of that M50 review, and this 30 model really kind of takes off the bite of that sporty edge that the M50 has, although this does have a sport mode that you can lock things down a little bit more and still take it down a back road as well. So I mentioned that mild hybrid system earlier, so now let's dive into fuel economy. So for this 30 model, you're going to be sitting at 29 mpg combined, which is fantastic. It's up 5 mpg from the previous generation base model, and if you want to spring for the sportier M50, you're not going to be sacrificing much. You're going to be sitting at 27 mpg combined, which is up 4 from the previous M40i X3. Both are fantastic.
I mean, yeah, those are just so good. Those numbers, I just want to emphasize, for those of you that don't know the segment, really 25 is a very good fuel economy figure. So, you know, 29 is just really blowing everything else out of the entire segment. It's just incredibly efficient. So that's definitely good news for those of you wanting just a straight gasoline powertrain setup here with the 30i model. No hybridization going on other than the mild hybrid setup, and you're still getting really incredible fuel economy. Now, I do want to point out, eventually, I think BMW will make an electric version of this. It's not quite out yet, and no word on a plug-in hybrid version. Now let's go ahead and dive into our Car Confections Slam Dunk and Airball, which is our favorite and least favorite element about the new X3. Josh, why don't you tell us what our favorite element is of this new model?
So the Slam Dunk for this X330, very similar to the M50 model, is that the 2025 updates really elevate upon an already fantastic choice. It gets bigger for 2025, the tech gets snappier for 2025, the engines are much more efficient, and we're really pleased with all of those updates in this packaging.
Yeah, they didn't change some of the things that didn't need to be changed, which I'm very happy about. It was already big, and the powertrains, I'm just so happy. You left a 6-cylinder and it gets 27 mpg. Talk about that. That's so exciting for you know, these times where everything is really engine downsizing. I'm just very happy about that. Now, on the Airball side of things, really the only thing that we can point to is that some of the materials inside of this cabin are not our favorites. For instance, the door handles feel a little cheap, and there are some elements of just straight hard touch plastic, which I think is a little bit out of place in this segment, especially if you're looking, you know, cross shopping with a Genesis GV70, for instance. That's going to have a lot more premium of a cabin. Yes, they've done a lot with the technology to make it feel cool and tech forward, but I would have liked them to keep the premium materials as well.
And wrapping things up, you will have BMW Signature Warranty, 4-year 50,000 miles for both your powertrain and your basic warranties, and then you'll have 3 years and 36,000 miles of complimentary maintenance, which is very nice for a luxury brand.
And now let's discuss pricing. So for this new X3, we start a touch under $50,000, $49,500 for this xDrive model. Now that's going to be quite a bit less than the M50 model, which comes in at $64,100. Now, if you want one as tested today, with most of the options that you can get on the 30 model, around $60,000 is what you're going to be looking at. Now, if you're looking to buy a BMW X3 or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. But buying a car is about more than just the original MSRP, so let's dive into resale and reliability. First up, let's talk about resale value. As an economics graduate myself, we took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for BMW's potential resale value. We estimate that after 5 years and 60,000 miles, it'll be worth 41.19%, and after 10 years and 120,000 miles, 15.3%. Now, it's worth noting that is below industry average for all vehicle makes. However, it is very much similar to other German luxury manufacturers such as Audi, Mercedes-Benz.
Now, we've also done the same for reliability by creating the Combined Reliability Index, which takes into account a lot of data taken from trusted automotive resources. According to this metric, BMW is on par with the industry average.
It's worth noting that's also better than the other German luxury brands. Now, if you'd like to learn more about our resale and reliability data, be sure to go to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a new vehicle is a big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. And guys, that's going to be it for our in-depth review of the all-new 2025 BMW X3 30. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to get the latest car reviews such as this, and you're also going to be a part of our Car Confections family. We have a lot of fun on this channel, and I promise you won't want to miss out. So do yourself a favor, subscribe down below. If you're already part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.